Sony, you chimichanga, they just made the 16mm f1.8 G lens, a full-frame wide prime lens that's incredibly small. Alright, real quick, this shot of my studio is filmed with a Sony 24-70 G Master lens at 24mm. And now, this is what my studio looks like with the Sony 16mm 1.8 G lens. Whoa! You could see so much more. You see my mic right over there. Hi. You see the entirety of my monitor. You even see this wall that I try to hide in my shots, as well as my my bookcase over there. Wow, you could see a whole lot more. So yeah, this might be too wide. Although, what if I did this? What if I brought it closer, right? It's about over here, maybe a little bit back. Yeah, something along those lines. Now that's a much better shot. Huh. That actually looks pretty cool. So for full transparency, Sony is not sponsoring this video because today's video is sponsored by bread. Now we'll get to the specs of this lens for you nerds out there, but I want to simplify this video to focus on this one question. Is the Sony 16mm f1.8 G lens actually worth it? Like if you already have a wide lens like a 16-35 G Master or the 16-25 or the Sony 20mm f1.8 or even the Viltrox 16mm f1.8, is Sony's newest full-frame wide lens actually worth it? All right, so now we're gonna take some photos of the Sony 16 1.8. We're gonna take some photos of this tower right over there, but we're also gonna compare it to the Viltrox 16 1.8 as well as the Sony 20mm 1.8. Ooh, I don't wanna miss that. Let's go here. I want the flare. Okay, we're gonna shoot everything at f1.8. Okay, here we go. Seems like the Sony 16 was a little bit wider than the Viltrox 16. Interesting. All right, so we're gonna be vlogging now. This is the Sony 16 f1.8 G lens. This is as wide of a shot as I can get for vlogs. So yeah, definitely wide enough. I'll bring it closer. It doesn't look too distorted, I don't think. Yeah, not too bad. All right, let's switch over to the Viltrox. Now we got the Viltrox 16mm f1.8. I'm extending my arm all the way. And this is how wide of a shot you can get with the Viltrox. And this is the Sony 20mm f1.8. Not as wide as the other two lenses, but definitely still wide enough for vlogging. All right, so with my initial comparison with all these lenses, the Sony 16 f1.8 is by far the lightest lens to use. In fact, it was the most enjoyable lens to use because it was so small and lightweight. The Sony 20mm was also a great lens to use. It was lightweight. It wasn't as wide as the 16mm, obviously, but in all honesty, vlogging at 20mm is totally fine. And then there's the cheapest lens of the bunch, the Viltrox 16mm f1.8. That lens was heavier than I expected. Like, it does have a metallic build, it is the largest lens of the bunch, but it definitely wasn't as enjoyable to vlog with like the Sony 16mm or the 20mm. All right, so I'm just gonna walk over here just to show how much you can capture with a wide lens like this. And I'm pretty far away, maybe like 30 feet or something like that. And I've attached my whole camera setup to the DJI RS4 Mini, so now it's following and tracking me. But if you wanted to get a wide shot in a space like this, this is what it looks like. All right, nerds, now let's talk about the specs. So just looking at the lens, it looks like your typical Sony lens. You got your focus ring that's incredibly smooth. There's an aperture ring that's declickable. It also has an iris lock switch that prevents you from accidentally changing the aperture on the ring. You also got your focus hold button, which you can customize to whatever feature you want. You got your autofocus manual focus switch, and the filter thread on this lens is 67mm. Now, like I've said many times in this video, this lens is incredibly incredibly lightweight, weighing only 304 grams. And that's actually lighter than the Sony 24mm f1.4 G Master, which weighs 445 grams. Performance-wise, this lens is what you'd expect with Sony lenses. It's got two XT linear motors for fast, precise, and quiet autofocusing. It has very minimal focus breathing, if any. It's sharp corner to corner and has minimal distortion. And then, of course, this lens is dust and moisture resistant. But the best part, in my opinion, is the size and weight of this lens. Like, it's so small. So far, I really dig this lens. I think it's really cool. And in the past, I have vlogged with the 16-35 G Master lenses, both the Mark 1 and the Mark 2. I've vlogged with the 16-25 G lens. That's a great tiny lens as well. But I never really go beyond 16 millimeters as a focal length, you know what I mean? For vlogging, I always stick with 16 millimeters. And so I feel like this particular lens is a really good pairing with the 24-70 G Master, you know what I mean? So 24-70 would be like your workhorse lens, and then this lens, the 16mm 1.8, would be your vlog lens, or for whenever you want a wide shot. All right, so here are my thoughts. By itself, I think the Sony 16mm f1.8 G is a fantastic wide prime lens. Like, if you're a primes only kind of person and you just want to use primes with your Sony full frame camera, then yeah, I think the Sony 16 f1.8 G lens is a fantastic option. Now, for those of us that already have wide lenses, like the Sony 16-35 G Master or the 16-25, or even the Sony 20mm f1.8 G lens, like, if you are happy with those lenses and they do the job, then I say hold on to your lenses and don't even worry about this new one. If you have either the 16-35 or 16-25, your advantage is that you have more focal lengths to choose from. If you have the Sony 20mm f1.8, that lens is plenty wide enough for vlogging. However, if you are an owner of the Viltrox 16mm f1.8, I would say sell that and get this lens. Like, the Sony 16mm is a far superior lens. Like, I know it's a little bit pricier than the Viltrox 16, but considering the performance, considering the size and weight of this lens, it is well worth the extra money to get a far superior lens. But overall, I think the Sony 16 1.8 G lens is a fantastic vlog lens. Great wide lens for architecture and stuff like this, and that's why I wanted to film over here, just so you can see how much you can capture with a wide lens. I've also attached the lens to the DJI RS4 Mini, so it's like tracking and following me. So that's kind of cool. Now you want to try it? Okay, like that, and now you can like walk, and now it's tracking you. Yeah, I guess. Don't break my gimbal. I mean, the shot looks cool. Maybe slow down. Slow down. What are you doing? Slow down. There's a buddy. Ah, that's it. Get over here, you. This is not funny. Okay.
The Sony 16 is good.
Hey, that's my job. The Sony 16 is good. Hey, if you want to check out the Sony 16, you're breaking my gimbal. If you want to check out the lens, links will be down in the description below. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. So you are breaking my gimbal. You need to pay for that.